Hey, hi there. It's Brian from Troubled Waters. Thanks for being with me on this Thursday afternoon. Beautiful day. It's been a gorgeous day. Got some important things done today, and I'm always thankful for that. I'm always thankful that every day is a gift, that I can learn to grow to be more like Jesus Christ. Yesterday we talked about love. How did Jesus love? And today I want to give an example of how Jesus loved. So if you're with me, let's dive in. I'll be in John chapter 4. This is a very familiar story. It's not a parable. It's a woman at the well. So what I'm trying to give a little history on is, how do I love people? And what I want to lead you to is, and for me too, is to better understand loving people that may not be like you. And let's see how Jesus dealt with that. So it's John 4, and listen as I read verses 7 through 10. Now there was a woman of Samaria who came to draw water. And Jesus said unto her, Give me a drink. And I got to stop there in verse 7. If you back up verse 6, Jesus is on his way he's passing through Samaria. And he stops there at Jacob's well. Well, let me read verse 6. Now Jacob's well was there. Jesus, therefore, being wearied from his journey, sat there by the well. It was about the 6th hour, so it's the heat of the day. So now I'm picking up in verse 7. The woman of Samaria came to draw water, and Jesus said unto her, Hey, give me a drink. For his disciples had gone away into the city to buy food. Then the woman of Samaria said to him, Hey, how is it that you, being a Jew, ask a drink from me, a Samaritan, a woman? For Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Jesus answered and said to her, If you knew the gift of God and who it is that says to you, Give me a drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water. I don't want to get in the weeds on this one. I just, for discussion here, and if you want, we can continue this. It's very, very extremely important. I think there's problems here. There's a lot of problems with today's Christians. There's a lot of fear out there. All I want to draw in today is one point. I'm going to try to get this under 10 minutes. But it's very, very, very powerful. Very powerful. Jews did not deal well with Samaritans. And that was part of their custom. It goes back to, early recorded history of the Jewish, of Israel and Samaria, which I don't want to get into. I don't want to get into the details. We can later if you want to. But what I'm looking at is, how did Jesus deal with a woman, a different race, different ideology? There were differences on worship. And, you're talking the Son of God here. Jesus, look at his reaction. He didn't chastise her. He didn't berate her. He didn't browbeat her. He didn't say, You're wrong. He's thirsty. And then she addresses the question. She brings up the differences. She says, What are you doing talking to me? We're not even on the same page. We're not on the same economic ladder. I'm a woman, and you're a Jew. More than that, she thought, her perception was that he was a teacher or a male role model Jew. And then he goes on to explain who he is. They get in a great discussion, and it leads to a lot of people being saved. The point I want to make is, how do I love people that are different? How do I love people that, and I just want to give this, I'm going to unpack this, so stay with me. Very, very important. How do I love people that are women? How do I love people that are, if I'm a woman, if you're female, listen to this, how you love, extend love to a male, a different nationality, a different race, a different ideology, a different social economic level. How do you extend love to somebody who's on a different ideology, a Muslim, an atheist, an agnostic, somebody who's Baptist, Church of Christ, Church of God, Christian Church, Methodist Church? How do you deal with that? Look what Jesus did. Well, he didn't think. He didn't have to think. Notice this. He didn't have to think about his answer. He was there. He was engaging. He was accommodating to her. He was answering her questions. He was there. He dived in. I think a lot of us feel like that the other side of the fence is wrong because they're different. They don't look like me. They don't have the same skin color. They don't have the same eye color. They don't have the same income. They're not going to the same church I'm going to. They're not the same race. They're not this. They're not that. You can find, even with your married partner, reasons not to communicate. The point I want to share with you real quick is Jesus' transparency. Let's give you one more to think about. How do I reach out to the LGBTQ community? Yeah, I know that's going to step on some toes. I think you can. I think you can on race, you can on sex, you can on ideology, you can on identity. I've thought very much through this and I've experienced this, and that's what I want to share, what God has directed me on this journey. Remember what we talked about going back to Ephesians 6. What are we doing putting on the full armor of God? We're first of all, knowing our identity. We are the righteousness of God through Jesus Christ. And what are we called to do? We said stand. And we're called stand and endure. That means we don't change. We don't compromise, we don't give up, we don't put up, and we don't shut up. What we are trophy cases. We're trophies of Jesus Christ. We're the stand to put Jesus on display. And as you go about your day, think about this. When I reach a member of LGBTQ or Muslims, I'm actually engaging myself to study the Quran, but that's another story. I love Muslims. Some of my best friends are Muslims. How do I engage in somebody that's either a different race, different sex, different ideology, different identity? This is what I want for me to think about. I am called to represent God to whomever. Jesus didn't shirk. He didn't hesitate. He went right after it. And you notice this. He did not compromise his identity. I think some of us feel like, well, she's different. Well, he's different. Well, you can build a mountain of excuses to say no all day. And some of them may look logical to you and may make sense. But are you representing God in that trophy case to put Jesus on display? So that's what I want to think about. I think the light of the gospel touches anything that's dark, anything. So if I'm afraid to reach out to somebody who's different, looks different income, millionaire, billionaire, and then got old Brian here, I need to rethink my position in Christ because I'm called for a purpose. Jesus fulfilled his mission on the earth, which he represented his Father to humanity. What am I doing? I'm representing Jesus to humanity because he's with his Father. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's hard. And I've got to tell you this too. So if you want to know, number one, where to start, don't hesitate. A friend of mine said yesterday, he's a great builder. And I said, how did you learn this? He said, I wasn't afraid to make mistakes. And I'm not afraid to make mistakes because the carpenter that I know is the Lord Jesus Christ. And he's got the skill set to help me to grow. So the number one point, don't be afraid to make mistakes. And understand, number two, you are not compromising your identity. You don't have to compromise to talk to a Muslim or to talk to a different race or a different sex or somebody who's diametrically opposed to what you believe. Find common ground. Even with our spouses, folks, we don't agree on every point. What kind of marriage would that be if we agreed on everything? My wife and I don't agree on everything, but it puts the spice and the energy of life that we can build from each other. She's more of an outdoor person, and I'm more of this. I'm more of a techie person. She's not that much so, but blend together. What I'm saying, you don't have to compromise who you are. You're called to represent Jesus Christ. Let Jesus's identity go out there, and let that person that you're afraid to speak to see Christ, and then make every point to grow with that person. Build a relationship. Number 3 point, you're going to get pushback. You want the good, bad, and the ugly? We don't wrestle with each other. I'm not talking about demon possession, but if it's somebody in your own clique, your own race, your own religion, you're going to get gaslighted. If that person is gaslighting you, well, you shouldn't have reached out to her, or you shouldn't have reached out to him. They'll never. Evaluate the energy that's coming from that person. Is that energy positive or negative? If that person is trying to tell you, don't reach out to Chris or to Ben or to Edward, he's this. Is that energy going to enlighten you, or are you being gaslighted? Are you being made to feel? How does that person's energy come off to you? Pray about it. Talk about it. But don't go out there, reach what I'm doing. I'm going out. I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I'm called to represent Christ. I'm not compromising Christ. Even to a Muslim, I'm not going to do it. But can I build a relationship? You betcha. You bet your boots I can. And I will. And that's what I'm committed to do. Try it. I'm going to try it. I've been trying it. But no, you're going to get pushback. If what you're doing makes you feel uncomfortable, then it's probably the right thing to do. And you're going to validate that. If there's energy coming against you from a negative source, it could be demonic. Could be your best friend. Could be your girlfriend. Could be your boyfriend. Could be your uncle. It's like you don't evaluate the energy that what they're trying to say to you. Are they gaslighting you? Are they making you feel less than, one down, or ashamed because you reached out to somebody for XYZ? Something to think about. I know that's deep on a Thursday, but it's got to be said. We are called to represent Christ everywhere. God made us. He put His Spirit in each one of us. Nobody's worth more than the other one. We may be worth more, somebody financially, but in the eyes of God, there's no difference. I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed of Jesus Christ. And yes, I've got to understand, I'm going to meet with resistance. Satan doesn't like God, and he doesn't like me going around representing God. So I've got to understand, I'm going to see pushback. I'm going to be gaslighted. So where's my identity? Where's my encouragement come? It comes from my relationship in Jesus Christ. I know we went over a little bit today, very important topic. Please, please, please hit the thumbs up. It pushes this message out to more people. The YouTube algorithms pick this information up and push this out. So please, if you found benefit in this, obviously post in the comments below today's description. But please, please, please give the thumbs up. If you feel like this discussion and information can help other people. Trying to get this worldwide. We're in the United States. This thing is growing. It's growing a lot. And I want to just keep pushing it. Your comments help get everything cemented and centralized. We get the discussion going. But when you give it the thumbs up, you're telling YouTube, hey, this is important. Somebody needs to hear this. God bless you. Go out, have a great day, but above all, have a godly day.